sweep the Cleveland Guardians at Yankee Stadium. This was a series where a lot of things went right for the Yankees. And, it's nice to get that sweep as well. So, there were a couple of instances this year against the Red Sox, the opening series, and against the Tigers, the past series, where they had a chance at the sweep and was unsuccessful. This time they get it. And like I said, it was a mainly very positive series on the field. We'll talk about some things that happened sort of the non-traditional topics that I wasn't really too thrilled with just from Yankee fans. But as far as the on-field product, really good. Against the Cleveland team that was 7-5 coming in. Now, I don't expect Cleveland to be a playoff team this year, but they're not a bad team. They're certainly not a bad team, and the Yankees really did a good job. And it starts with, the starting pitching. Taillon does a solid job in Game 1. Nestor Cortes continues to do his thing Game 2. And Garrett Cole in Game 3, this is more like the Garrett Cole that you're hoping to see. He was very good. And staying on the pitching front, Michael King, just brilliant in the first game. Goes 3 innings, 8 strikeouts. So Michael King, he needs to be included in that because he has just been, honestly, one of the best pitchers in baseball. So he is going to be a weapon out of the pen, however they choose to use him. And then offensively, really, Friday night was the Aaron Judge show, as he had 2 home runs. He threw a guy out of third from center field. So Aaron Judge, big-time first game. Overall, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he is becoming one of my favorite Yankees on this team. We're, a 2.5 weeks into the season thereabouts, and so it's a very small sample, but he had a very tough first week or so, and ever since then, he's been great. In the field, just at the plate, really impressed with what I see with him. And then Anthony Rizzo is consistent. Like, he had a pretty good series. And DJ LeMahieu, this is more like the DJ LeMahieu that we saw in the first 2 seasons as a Yank. There are some negatives for sure, and we'll touch on that. Really, namely Giancarlo Stanton. It's been a big-time struggle for him. He did not play the last game, and deservedly so. I don't expect it to last like that, but Stanton, what's really concerning is the walks to strikeouts. He has like 1 walk and about 22 strikeouts, and that is just really alarming, but that's the type of player that he can be. He is extremely streaky. Whereas Aaron Judge, it's funny. Aaron Judge, as his career has evolved, he really is a fairly consistent player where, the batting average always kind of ends up around the same, and there's not so many heavy streaks. Whereas when he was a rookie, which was an amazing rookie year, he was streaky. I remember in August, he was terrible. But now, not so much. Stanton is a streaky hitter, just always has been. Joey Gallow, the struggles, I guess I shouldn't say the struggles continue. It's still not great. My confidence isn't high, but it did get better as the series went along. The first time was bad. He was hearing the boos really loudly. But eventually he does get an RBI. He does get his first extra base hit. So steps in the right direction. Gleyber Torres as well. Gleyber Torres did not start the second game, but comes in, ends up getting the game-winning hit, and gets a couple hits in the last game. What I'm also happy about is Jose Trevino caught Garrett Cole. So that's a great sign, and Cole pitched really well. So I like that because between Trevino and Higashioka, I just like how Trevino's been. I mean, he's been a really nice addition. So the fact that Cole doesn't have a personal catcher in Higashioka, that's a good sign. So, like I said, Game 1, Taillon on the mound against Eli Morgan for Cleveland. Eli Morgan pitched pretty well. He went 3 innings, did what he could, and then Cleveland had used 4 different pitchers, and all of them, they held, they kind of held Cleveland in it. They gave up 4 runs in 8 innings. They kind of did what they had to do, but the Yankee pitching was brilliant. And like I said, this was really the Aaron Judge show. Aaron Hicks was out in this game. Again, that kind of made sense as well. Aaron Hicks, who got off to a good start, it's still pretty good for him, although in the clutch, which is another story which we've discussed, it's not great, but Aaron Hicks was, the odd man out in this one. But in the third inning, with 2 outs, 2-out walk to LeMahieu, who's back at leadoff, that's where it should be. You kind of had a feeling that Donaldson leadoff and LeMahieu fifth wouldn't last that long as soon as something went wrong. So now it basically flipped, where DJ's back at leadoff, Donaldson's more in that middle of the order role. So DJ walks, and then Judge. This was an impressive home run to center field, right center field. It's a 2-run shot for Judge, gives the Yanks 2-0 lead. Cleveland does get their 1 run the next inning as Taillon gives up a home run to Franmil Reyes. But the Yankees fight back immediately in the bottom of the fourth as with new pitcher, the lefty Logan Allen, and it's a 1-out walk for Donaldson, a 2-out single for Torres, and then an RBI single for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He is coming through with runners in scoring position. Lately, early on he was not, but lately he is kind of the guy you want up there. So the Yankees take a 3-1 lead. And then Taillon gets into a little bit of trouble in the fifth. And this is where Andres Jimenez, former Met, gets a leadoff infield single. Then Miles Straw lines out. And then Stephen Kwan singles to Aaron Judge in center, but Judge throws Jimenez out at third. This was very important as you get second and third in that situation. 2-run game, who knows? But Judge is able to make the play, and so it's 3-1 Yanks at that point. And then Michael King comes in. Michael King really does the job, just spectacular. And he started at 3-0 to Reyes, fights back, strikes him out, and from there he. And I should also mention, in the bottom of the fifth, before King comes in, Judge, line drive homer to right, off of Tanner Tully, who I believe made his major league debut. And Judge greets him with a home run. So that's 4-1. So King comes in, gives up a hit in the sixth and pitches well. Then the seventh and the eighth, strikes at the side both innings, and 7 straight strikeouts. So just a really good job for Michael King. And then Chapman comes into the ninth, gives up a leadoff double to Josh Naylor, who really does well against the Yankees, dating back to the 2020 playoffs. He's not someone that does a whole lot versus anyone else, but against the Yankees, he does well. But then Chapman is able to get out of it. No harm, no foul. Yanks win 4-1. And that was a pretty well-played game. So game 2, this was the most exciting and interesting game. And there was a lot going on here. And this would be Nestor Cortes in the mound versus Cal Quantrill, son of Paul Quantrill, former Yankee. And Cortes was brilliant again. Gave up 1 hit in six and a third. And it was a Josh Naylor, of course, home run. That was it. And he made a brilliant play in the field, which it looked like he might have been safe, but basically Cortes ground ball to Rizzo. Was it a ground ball to Rizzo? Or no, maybe let's see here. It was a play where Nestor Cortes basically ends up on his belly and was sliding to basically make the play at first and does. I believe, yes, it was a ground ball. Rizzo to Cortes. Yes, Cortes was late getting over there, and he just beat Stephen Kwan. It was close. To be honest, he might have been safe, but just the fact that he went down and made that play, that's just Nestor Cortes, he's just different than most pitchers. It's hard to explain, but he is just different than most pitchers. But yeah, like I said, this one, Gleyber Torres would start on the bench. LeMahieu stays batting leadoff. It's basically a customary lineup. Gallow has dropped to the 7th spot for the most part. Sort of when you have that regular lineup, Gallow is now batting 7th, and that kind of makes sense. So it's scoreless up until the 5th, and Cleveland strikes first. And at this point, Cortes had a no-hitter with 1 out in the 5th. And after a 1-out walk to Ahmed Rosario, Josh Naylor hits a 2-run homer to give the Guardians a 2-0 lead. Then in the bottom of the fifth, this is always key. The Yankees, Nestor has done so well for the Yankees, and they were able to push across 2 runs, a 1-out walk to Hicks, a single for Gallow. So a big single for Gallow, then an RBI single for Kiner-Falefa, again, just continuing to come through. Gallow goes to third on that, so it's first and third, 1-out, and Higashioka gets a sacrifice fly to tie it up at 2. So that's a really good response inning. Cortes pitches a really good 6th, and then he gets 1 out in the 7th, and they bring in Clay Holmes. Standing ovation for Cortes. Clay Holmes gets the 2 outs in the 7th, so it's 2-2 headed to the bottom of the 7th. And with 1 out, it is a home run for Josh Donaldson. So Josh Donaldson, the numbers aren't great, but when he has come through, it has been meaningful. I will say that. So in terms of the clutch factor, Donaldson has come through in those spots. So this was a big home run at the time. Gives the Yanks a 3-2 lead. They try to tack on Hicks single, Gallow walk. But then, unfortunately, they take out Quantrill. De Los Santos comes in, strikes out Kiner-Falefa. And then after a balk while Higashioka was up, Higashioka still strikes out. On the balk play, he took a strike down the middle that would have been strike 3, and then he swings at a bad pitch. So it stays at 3-2. Then Chad Green comes on. And the problem with Chad Green is that he is just susceptible to the long ball. He gives up big-time home runs sometimes. And look, Chad Green is a good reliever. We give him shit. But here's the facts. Like, I think in sort of the trust tree or guys that you have faith in, I think Green is kind of down that list. Just because out of all the relievers, he's very capable of giving up a home run, and that's exactly what he did. It's a leadoff single to Josh Naylor, because of course. And then with 2 outs on a full count, Austin Hedges, catcher, who isn't really much of a big-time hitter, launches one to left, 2-run homer for Hedges, gives Cleveland a 4-3 lead. So Chad Green, not great. I really feel like Chad Green, he is a guy that we see more success from Chad Green in the 6th and the 7th than the 8th and the 9th. And I think the stats would back that up. So 1-run game in the 8th, I don't know. I think Chad Green, there is a little, for him, as good as the numbers are, there's just a little bit of, I don't know if I trust him in those late innings. So Cleveland takes that 4-3 lead, and they would keep it in the 8th, and the inning ends. LeMahieu gets the leadoff single. Brian Shaw starts the inning, and then Sandin comes in to face Stanton and strikes him out. Giancarlo Stanton, it's been a struggle. Got off. It's funny. He did well in that initial Red Sox series. He owns the Red Sox, but then beyond that, it's been ugly for Stanton. So that was not good. We head to the 9th, and Miguel Castro does the job. Miguel Castro, who's been mostly good as a Yankee, keeps it at 1. So Emmanuel Clase, the Indian closer, comes in. Leadoff walk, Josh Donaldson. That's really big. Tim Locastro pinch runs for Donaldson and steals second when Aaron Hicks strikes out. So it's a runner on second, 1 out, and then Joey Gallo lines out to Naylor. It was a broken bat, and so it's down to this. Runner on second, Locastro, 2 outs, 1-2 pitch to Kiner-Falefa, and he delivers. 100-mile-per-hour fastball by Clase is hit to left field, and it goes off the wall. Stephen Kwan tried to make the play, couldn't do it. Just as clutch as it gets, Kiner-Falefa with the game-tying RBI double. And when this happens, there's a little chaos kind of ensues a little bit in left field. There was a Yankee fan that I guess was talking shit to Kwan after he got hurt on the play, which is just wrong. And I assume that he was probably chirping all game. And so Miles Straw, the center fielder, former Astro, climbs on, to the left field wall and is, engaging with the fan. And so that happens. Keep that in mind. Gleyber Torres then pinch hits for Kyle Higashioka, and on a 1-2 count as well against Clase, delivers the walk-off RBI single. So Torres comes through there, and Gleyber Torres is no stranger to walk-off hits. I believe since 2018, he leads baseball, I think, with 5 walk-offs. So Gleyber Torres gets the job done, scores Kiner-Falefa. Yankees win 5-4. But as this happens, he gets into right center field. Yankee fans start throwing beers and water bottles in the direction of Oscar Mercado. Why, I have no idea. It increased to the point where the Yankees, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, had to say, "Hey guys, stop! What are you doing?" And that is a bad look. And I know that that's just a small segment of Yankee fans that did that. Honestly, to me, It appears like it's the ones that really aren't the diehards, just ones that are just looking to have a good time at the stadium on a nice day. And it's just the wrong thing to do. That's a bad look for the Yankee fans. That should never happen. That was disgusting. And it kind of ruined what was a good, a really feel-good moment for Gleyber Torres. Just, you can't have that. And I hope that doesn't happen again. So the Yankees, win the series at that point. But, like I said, you want to get that sweep, and they got it in resounding fashion. And that's key, too, because then you can stay away from key relievers. So Garrett Cole really looked fantastic. He goes 6 2/3, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. That's the Garrett Cole that we've seen a lot in his Yankee career. Something that I know he's capable of. Even though he has struggled lately, and I think the consistency could be an issue, it's good to know that he is capable of having those dominant outings, and it worked well with Trevino as well. So just really good stuff. The star of this game, there's a few of them, but offensively, really standout-wise, you got to go DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo. And so in the first, Rizzo gets it going with a 2-run homer. So it was a double for Judge with 1 out, and then Rizzo hits a 2-run homer, makes it 2-0 Yanks. Then in the third, it would be a 1-out single for Kiner-Falefa, and then a 2-out double by LeMahieu. It's a play that I think Mercado would have liked to have made. It was a hard hit ball. He can't make the play. LeMahieu gets the RBI double, and Kiner-Falefa scores. Again, DJ is just looking like his old self, which is so big for this team. Last year he was an ordinary player at best. To get this type of player just changes the game. So bottom of the third, it's a Rizzo double. Donaldson hit by pitch, Gleyber walk. Bases loaded, and Aaron Hicks gets lucky. Honestly, this was another situation where Hicks hits a high sky fly ball that probably doesn't get the run in, but it just kind of dunks in front of Miles Straw. And so Rizzo scores. They get Gleyber out in the fourth and second. So it's a lucky situation for Hicks. And then Joey Gallow gets an RBI double. His first RBI of the year, his first extra base hit, gives the Yankees a 5-0 lead. And then Kiner-Falefa gets a sac fly to make it 6-0 Yankees. Jumping ahead to the sixth, it would be with 1 out, a walk to Trevino, and then a 2-run homer for DJ LeMahieu. So again, just continuing his hot hitting. And so the Yankees take a 8-0 lead. Cole would come out in the seventh. Wandy Peralta comes in, gets the last out of the seventh. And then in the eighth, Peralta pitches a scoreless frame. And so in the bottom of the eighth, some new players come in. Marlon Gonzalez gets a 1-out single. And then Miguel Castro, pinch hitting for Aaron Judge, hits a home run. So that's not really part of his game. But Castro, he's been good as a pinch runner. He's good defensively. And so he absolutely deserves to be on the Major League roster. I was a little surprised he didn't start out that way, but now he is. And so the Yankees take that 10-0 lead, and they almost get the 10-0 shutout. Ron Marinaccio comes in, gets the first 2 outs easily. Then Ahmed Rosario walks, which is weird. Ahmed Rosario is not someone that normally does walk, but did a little bit in the series. Then Bobby Bradley pinch hits, gets a single, and then Andres Jimenez gets the 2-run triple, breaks up the shutout. So Marinaccio, who I don't think is long, and I've liked what I've seen from him, but I think eventually he will be sent down soon. I think that's imminent. But either way, Yankees with an impressive 10-2 win. They get the sweep, which can't be understated. And now Baltimore comes in. Yankees looking for some revenge. And honestly, let's get this sweep. Look, if you win the series, you got to be happy with that. But especially, and I know you're just coming off a sweep, so if you win 2 out of 3, it won't feel so bad. But you just lost the series against Baltimore. Get the sweep. It is the Baltimore pitchers, same exact ones as the last series, which I guess is a bit problematic, but we'll see. Lyles, Wells, and Zimmerman. For the Yankees, it's 2 out of 3 that are the same. Severino's the odd guy. And then again, it will be Montgomery and Taillon. So, look, the Yankees are 10-6, tied for first with the Blue Jays in the division. You somehow sweep this series at 13-6. All of a sudden, the outlook's good. Even though the schedule at that point through Baltimore will have been fairly easy, still, that can give you confidence. And so I'm hopeful, even though it's a bit of an ask. Look, we lost the series of Baltimore to get the sweep at home. But again, this is a good start. And the Yankees, again, get the sweep against Cleveland at the stadium.